All right. Well, we're waiting for Bernice. Okay, I'm just gonna put this next to my. Oh, wait.
Girl, why you turn that off?
Hang on. I want to get it from the beginning because it's like.
Hi.
Is this too loud?
No, girl. All you have to do is stare. Satisfy everything you need. You shouldn't waste a single day. So don't stop before then. It's destiny calling. I just can't deny. It's never changing. I'm saying I want you for the rest of my life. Together forever, with you. There's only something I can do, because I wouldn't ever want to see you down. Always do what's best for you. There ain't no mistake, and it's true that I will make it. Something to last for all time. It's never changing. Hear me, I'm saying I want you for the rest of my life. Forever with you, and don't you know I'm with you forever with you. Break it down.
Work it, girl. Work it. It's like the 1986 Crystal Light aerobic
Crystal Light
championship.
To be together.
Okay. This is the other song I wanted.
Oh man, you got two? Girl. Oh yeah. Break it down, girl. You know the words, and so do I. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Give you all, never gonna let you down. She's got to. I had to. Each other for so long. I've been making love. How to say it. It's going on, Steve. And if you ask me how I'm feeling,
coming
We
on
got to plant your seed.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie about you. Get you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around.
Desert you.
But you're gonna say goodbye, you're gonna tell a lie and hurt you. So long, then it came up. You're too shy to say it. As long as we both know what's been going on. Always dreaming we're gonna play it. And to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell you about and hurt you. And hurt you. Get you up. It's gonna fade. A 10-second fade.
It's a sting. It's a sting length. It's like a fade out by Sting. Sting takes like a 5-minute fade out.
Yes, the whole song is a fade out.
The whole song is like 3 minutes of song and then like 10 minutes of fade out. Have you ever noticed that?
It's a fade out.
Sting goes on like a freaking journey. It's like his fade outs are epic.
His journey through the desert.
I know.
The desert of the roses.
Whatever that's supposed to mean.
Well, isn't that one of his albums or his songs called? Desert Rose?
Desert Rose, maybe. His Desert of Roses. English.
Going on a camel.
It matters going on a camel. It matters where you put a comma.
It matters where you put a comma.
They should put that on a t-shirt. English. It matters where you put a comma.
Or it should be a sentence that's awkward without a comma. That talks about you need a comma. Talks about you need a comma. I don't know. Okay.
Like I like to cook and eat my family or something. I like cooking.
I can eat my family.
I like cooking and eating my family. I can't remember what that was. It was something with Rachel Ray. It's talking about how we need.
That sounds familiar.
I could go on and on about the Oxford comma, but it doesn't matter.
Yes. Anyway, today I have iced tea because it's effing hot.
Well, you're in Southern California, so enjoy that.
Well, it's not just hot. I don't mind. I haven't minded the heat. There was a big rainstorm yesterday.
Oh, so it's humid.
And so now it's muggy and it's humid, and there's not a whole lot of wind. So I'm sitting in front of a window.
Of an open window. Well, I'm sitting in front of a window too, but it's not open. And I solved the problem of being hot outside. I just don't go outside anymore.
Yes. Well, you're also in a house that has air conditioning.
Yes. And if I really want to,
that also helps.
If I really want to get cold, I'll just go into the basement where it's about 25 degrees colder.
Yes. I wonder where Bernice is, because she's usually here on time, but sometimes
maybe she can't remember how to log in. If you can't remember how to log in,
and sometimes it says that she's watching. Bernice, you need
Well, hi, Bernice.
Hi. Join in the conversation. I don't know how to.
Well, it's there. It's there.
I don't know what it looks like.
I'm opening. Go over to the left side and look at Q&A. Okay, it's disabled on my end, but if you go over to your left side, you'll have the menu pop out.
Feature is disabled. So how do I?
Oh, maybe you didn't enable it in the. See, this is like learning curve for Google.
Oh, you have to enable it before you start it?
Yes.
Oh, see, I tried to do that last time, and Bernice was like, "I can't. It says it won't work." All right. Oh well, that's okay. I know that
Well,
she's here.
maybe you can click on group chat. Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
That's right. We'll know for next time. So thank you.
The last time, Bernice. It's okay.
It's not the last time. We're gonna be here. We're coming back.
We're just gonna keep coming back. Maybe I'll hold my own Hangouts and I'll actually learn how to use it because I had this great.
Yes, I think you should.
I know. I had this beautiful time with Red Tent Sacramento, and then I had forgotten all about this thing where if you click on the screen once, like it won't take over the automatic whatever. And so yeah, that was pretty bad. So I ended up recording my audience instead of me. That was pretty bad. I was
wondering why I was watching that video, and I'll put a link below to it because I did a blog post inspired by it,
which was so cool, by the way.
But I was kind of confused of why it was showing the audience instead of you. But I thought, well, maybe sometimes you want to show the reaction of the audience, but you still have your audio in the background,
right? Which is what I want.
Show the interaction of the audience to you.
Yeah,
so
I was going for that, but I forgot about it. I don't know. We'll see. In the future, it's just that, they want to watch it later and they get to look at themselves instead of me. They can't remember what I look like.
That's all right.
Anyway.
So this is week 12 of the Artist's Way. I'm working through. If you don't know, I'm Kezia Carter. I'm working through 12 weeks of the self-guided course, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I have to remind myself to talk a little bit slower on these because Google likes to lag a little bit sometimes. But this is week 12, and we had our dance party.
Yay!
And I really like dance party. There's another girl that I follow. She starts every webinar, every live event, everything that she has online, she starts with a dance party. And so I thought that was a fun celebratory thing to do of this is week 12 and the final week. And also it's kind of like what we were talking about, I talked about last week of week 11 of creativity and how having that balance of low energy and higher energy in your life, meditation and exercise. So that was our exercise, and now we're going to be doing the meditating thing. So, I'm an all-around, one-stop shop, creativity booster.
Okay.
And I've got my lipstick on, which makes me feel like I'm powerful and I'm pretty. And it goes with my tank top.
I love your tank top. I put on a hat just for you, and I am wearing lipstick, but you can't tell. Can you tell?
Well, I can tell. It's not as bright as mine, but
no, it's because it's like flesh-colored lipstick. Yes, you like my fedora, my little fedora.
Yes, your hat is cute with your braids.
Thank you.
So the beginning of the chapter I thought was interesting that it talks about creativity requiring faith. And faith, whether you believe in God, whether you're religious or not, she's saying faith requires that we relinquish our control. And in this sense, like either spiritual control, mental control. And I thought it was interesting that it had mentioned we tend to throw up roadblocks when things are going good and we're in the flow, we're in the creative flow. I have noticed that I do this, that I throw up a creative block to prevent myself from going any further, even though all I'm feeling is good feelings and great flow. I'm doing the work. For example, I was talking to you the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been like obsessed. Like I have all of this time available to me during the summer. And so, you know, I'm going to work a lot on my online, and I've been attending lots of like free webinars and learning about a bunch of stuff. But then I haven't done any painting really before I started being on the computer all day.
Right.
I was in a great flow. So I don't
Right.
know. Have you noticed that in your life?
Absolutely. I put up creative blocks, and I find excuses as to why I can't succeed all the time. In fact, you know, I don't even mind saying, like, this invitation to speak for the Sacramento Red Tent, it was just a wonderful opportunity, and I had never had anybody contact me to do an event before. And so even though I was completely prepared to do so, and the thing is I've been prepared to do it for many years, and I just haven't done it, and I almost didn't do it. And a lot of times I think opportunities will show up for me, and I'll find a reason why I'm like, well, no, I just shouldn't take it. You know, I'll find a reason why, when really what it is I'm just scared. Or, you know, you talk about surrendering control. Oh, hi, Bernice.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Better late than never.
Yay.
Happy you're here, Bernice. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear what's going on, but I was just sharing about relinquishing control. Yes, so I'm in the middle of, so I'm actually, there are some things in my life that are possibilities that are growing, and I really, really like them, and I'm worried that something's going to happen that's going to make it go away, that's going to make it disappear, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just worried that it'll disappear. And so I think that relinquishing control is a big deal, because you're never actually really in control. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you still with me, Kezia? Because it looks like you're all
Yes,
seasoned
no,
up here.
I'm just
Okay.
sitting here. Yeah, Bernice. Okay, so we were talking about how creativity requires faith, and faith requires that we relinquish control over whatever. Over things that may. I lost my thought.
I know.
So I was talking about how I'm in the creative flow. Like when I'm over there painting, things are going great, but then I get distracted, or maybe I think, well, no, I should be doing other things. And so recently I've been doing lots of like computer work, like all day, instead of painting. And I realized that it was like a form of a block that I forced on myself, even though things were going great while I was painting. It's like I'm not allowing myself to be happy, sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything in your life that you want to share that maybe you throw up blocks to yourself?
I would say I should myself all the time. Usually what I do, because I work all week, is I think on the weekends when I really want to be making art, I will sit and think, you know, I should be cleaning the house. I should be writing bills. I shouldn't be spending money on art supplies. That's a huge one for me.
Yeah, that's a big one for me too.
You know,
Yes.
and the funny thing is I end up spending a lot of time, sometimes like a whole weekend, like doing a sit and spin, like avoid, approach, avoid, approach, avoid, approach. And then at 7 o'clock at night on Sunday, when it's really kind of too late to do anything, the creative impulse gets so big I can't stop it. And then I start making stuff. And then I look up and it's 2 in the morning and I have to get up at 5 to go to work.
Oh,
So,
man, you just like described my whole childhood.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. We had, and Kezia, you and I doing The Artist's Way, we had a whole section where we talked about that, where we talked about making
Yes.
time for what you're put on the planet to do, you know, for that artistic. You have to give yourself some artistic space and give yourself some permission. Otherwise, you end up staying up till 2 a.m., like apparently all three of us have done.
Yes.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right. Well, okay, so here's my question, because this is what I constantly I struggle with, and I don't know if it's just the way I am, or if it's a habit, or maybe a combination of the two, a habit that I can change, but getting distracted. And I guess it can be seen as like a form of procrastination, but I get distracted by so easily by anything. Well, it's easier than ever to get distracted now anyway, and especially if you're going to run your own little business online. This is why you and I have had conversations about this, where it's like you've got to avoid shiny object syndrome and be like, oh, I want to know this, and oh, I want to know that, and I want to go do, this webinar and that thing. Yeah. But also there's stuff like Twitter and Facebook and G Plus and like all of the above, and it's like on your freaking phone. And there's just so many good, like, interesting things that I can learn that, like, oh, that sounds interesting, I want to know about that, I want to try out this kind of food, I want to go to this place and look at what they have, like at a museum or at a store. And, like, I've said this to you before, Krista, everyone really does need a life coach. For real, yes. And you and I have been we've been trying to figure out how to get life coaches for everybody. Yes.
Okay, so how about this, though? I think one of the problems is that when you have an artistic mindset, what happens is everything around you becomes inspiration, and you literally see things you didn't see before. Like, I was telling one of my art teachers, I took art history specifically because I didn't want to draw. And it turns out my art history teacher is one of the most preeminent, like, local California artists. And first day, she says, you're going to draw. Like, literally, you can't pass this class unless you do 70 sketches. And you have to do all kinds of medium. And you have to do sculpture, and you have to do advertising. And I hated it, and I bitched and I screamed because I didn't want to do it. But when it was over, I was driving to class one day, right? And I'm looking, and thank God there was hardly anybody on the freeway because I would have hit somebody. Suddenly I realized, oh my God, have those clouds always been there? Have they always been that amazing? And everything from that moment on became a shiny object. Like, right. Look at the texture on that. Look at how cool this card is. Like, everything became a thing. So yeah. I think sometimes maybe we're a little hard on ourselves because, yeah, we get distracted by shiny objects, and yeah, maybe we don't produce as much as we want. But is producing, I don't think you can always produce. Like, one of my teachers said to me, it's like you gather information, you gather information, you gather information. It's like eating food. You're only going to do so much of it, and then you're going to be full. But it's a good thing, because at some point you're either going to stop and digest, and it'll, do something, or you're going to regurgitate what you don't like, as disgusting as that is. Yeah. But I think maybe sometimes that's what we're doing. And I think, yeah, I have a timer. Like, I have a timer next to my computer because I will fall into the rabbit hole and it will be 7 hours later. So I don't think it's a bad idea to structure yourself, but I also don't think we should beat ourselves up for being amazed by the world we live in and being amazed by new thoughts and new books and new paintings and new vistas. Like, that's what feeds you as an artist and gives you the material you need to go and create, right?
Yeah. There's definitely a mind shift between artists, and I don't want to say art. Definitely human is born with like creative abilities, and I think really creativity or being an artist is really just the mindset shift, like you were talking about. Seeing the world in a different way. People see, things inspire you that normally someone else who doesn't have that mind shift wouldn't see. So yeah, I totally understand that. But you were going to say something, Kristen? Oh, I was just going to say that was a really good point, Bernice, and we need to probably introduce Bernice so people know who she is.
Oh, yes.
But like all of a sudden, there's this great lady named Bernice. Hey, Bernice, you know,
Bernice,
the great. She's just there. But I was just going to say it was just a really good point, Bernice, and that is part of what makes an artist is being able to notice those things and learn new things. And there's nothing wrong with being excited about learning new things. I guess my big point is that the distraction that, or the information that's available online is never ending, and there will always be more of it. And
yes.
like, so with that, you have to moderate it. I think specifically with that. But with life in general, sometimes part of being an artist is, or even just part of being a human being, is understanding when to be like, when to indulge your impulses and follow it and see where it goes, because it can go to really beautiful places. And so you have to kind of moderate that in yourself. You'd be like, I might never get this chance again, you know, like at the last minute some friend calls you up and you've got some great opportunity to go to see some really cool thing, and you've got some grown-up things you could do, but it wouldn't really break your bank or hurt life too much if you just seize the moment. And so as long as it's not, you know, killing you or anybody else, sometimes it's appropriate to just sort of follow those rabbit holes and see where they go. So I just thought that was a really good point. Should we introduce Bernice?
Yes. Okay, so everyone, since
and do you want to go by Bernice or Bernie? That's my question.
Usually I go by Bernie.
Shall we call you Bernie?
Okay.
Because we can't. Because every time I think I just love the name Bernice, and I always think of Sesame Street. Now that I know who you are, like, do you know what I mean when I'm referencing Sesame Street?
Yes.
Okay, it's like, Bernice, your move. I always think that. Always. In a very affectionate way, I'm always thinking, Bernice, your move.
Okay, so everyone who doesn't know, since this is my hangout, Bernice, aka Bernie, she actually, I found her, she's my new friend through Krista. And this is Krista. And she started watching my hangouts, and so I thought, hey, week 12, we're going out with a bang. You want to join us live? And so she's joining us live. I don't even know, what do you do, Bernice? I forget.
Quick intro, Bernice.
Quick intro.
Tell us what you do.
What do I do for a living?
Just what you do, what you are online.
What your interests are, what you like, how you like living life.
AKA plug what you do here.
Fill in here. Okay, I work for the Fine Arts Department of a local college. I recently went back to university and graduated with a double major in psychology and women's studies. And in my period of time when I was unemployed, aka 18 months of nothingness, I started doing art, started making art collage, and have been working on that ever since. And then about a year ago, I co-created with a friend of mine something called the Sacramento Red Tent, which is a group of women that get together every other month, and we do meditation, we do movement, we do talking, we create a tribe, we make art. Even if you think you're not an artist, every single time we make some kind of art. And so, yeah, that's me.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Krista told me about your alley.
What?
I see this is just up your alley.
Yes. Yes, Krista told me about your Red Tent event, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be fun to go to. I'm kind of close. I'm on the right side of the country.
You're just a bit lower.
Just a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But you know.
I was thinking, Krista, sometime what would be super fun, now that we've actually managed to do a distance ed thing with Krista, which was awesome, and everybody loved it, by the way. I have heard nothing but great things about you. Oh my God, you know what, Krista? You could totally teach art. We could like put you on the big screen. You could be the big giant head, and you could do an art project. Wouldn't that be fun?
Are you talking about me, or are you talking about Kezia?
Kezia, sorry. Woo, brain fart.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, well, That's something that has like that's something that sounds like I would do, but I guess Krista could do that too. I mean,
No, that would be Kezia's thing because she does art and art therapy.
yes,
so.
that's the next thing that I'm gonna do with Google Hangouts. Actually, I'm gonna do a weekly art project.
I like the idea a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I think that's really great. And I have to tell you that you've inspired me because I've been watching you scrubbing paintings and just getting really like into them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to especially take the ones I'm not sure I love, and I'm going to just start just working them. I think it'd be really fun.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll start with that.
Thank you for that.
You liked the ones that I was using sandpaper with?
Sandpaper and water and just getting into them.
Yeah.
I like texture. Like I like texture. And so you're talking about, you know, where does your, you know, mind go? I can't walk down a street anymore without going, oh, look at the texture in that wall. Oh, look at the texture in the concrete. Like I've become a crazy person.
Yes. Oh, speaking of that, you know, something coming back to the topic of I don't think this is necessarily in the chapter, but a lot of it's their creativity more than most people. They're seen as crazy people, or maybe as like crazy people, mental. They people think that they're weird. And something that I was watching on the History Channel this week was, you know, that Ancient Aliens series. And they were talking about a group of really smart, like engineering-minded people that, example, one of them was Albert Einstein, and their daily rituals, that how they would receive or somehow come across all of this, like, breaking, what's that word, breaking? The mind-boggling information. Like all of Albert Einstein's, all of his equations for like time travel, time, space, no one's ever heard of it before, you know, and they were saying that all of them had some form of meditation in their daily practice. And a meditation that Albert Einstein would do he would light a candle, put the candle at the foot of his bed, lie down on his bed, and stare at the ceiling and look at the the light refracting on the ceiling. And inspiration, all of the knowledge came to him, which a lot of people who are like that and who do that, I think other things in their life tend to not be as prominent, like really caring what you look like, or having crazy hair, or dressing a certain way, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're kind of seen as a crazy person.
You know, I think that really connects to the point of the chapter, the chapter 12, and that because when you meditate, you let go.
Yeah.
You let go of everything, you clear your mind, and you make space for stuff. And when you make space for stuff in something, you've got a place for other, you know, to put stuff into.
Yeah, it's kind of, I like somebody used the metaphor of like tipping your head out like a teapot. Like when you're meditating, it's that moment that you can go, oh, I can let out the 800 thoughts about what am I going to make for dinner all week, or, you know, what's due. And it's, you know, the idea that you're supposed to stop the chatter isn't really exactly correct, because the more you try to stop the chatter, the monkey mind, the worse it gets. If you just let it flow and kind of ride through, I think you make such a good point. You actually are creating space in your awareness to bring in other information, whether that information is coming from the outside or from a part of you that you don't access. And maybe that's, you know, going back to what you were talking about how we get lost and distracted, maybe that's the discipline that we need, is just the space of being quiet where we're not getting constant input. from the outside, where we're not constantly sitting with our phones or constantly looking online or constantly reading a book, because I'm really guilty of that. I think once you've been a university student, you're boot camped, you're trained into thinking that you're constantly supposed to be shoving input in, but you don't allow yourself, I think, the ability to be creative with your own voice, your own thoughts, unless you have that silent space. I think that's such a great thing you shared, Kezia, that meditation, I think, probably does create a different mind. I think all of us become different people when we open up that space, that it's not somebody else's voice coming through, it's ours, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And that's like the foundation of how I realized what art did for me, like when I was little, that I didn't realize at the time, like I just recently in the past several years realized that getting at that process of emptying out my feelings, of emptying out the things that I was thinking of, especially since I was quiet. I wasn't necessarily shy, but I was a real quiet person. I didn't always have someone to talk to with about like life things, what's going on in my life. And so having an outlet really did help me not only empty out what I was feeling and to just get it out, but to figure it out if I needed a solution to something.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing that I was thinking while you guys were talking about meditation. There's the type of meditation where you don't do anything, and then you can also meditate while you're doing something. You can do meditation in motion. You can do meditation through art. And I know, Kezia, that a lot of your experience is that when you're in the middle of feeling something that feels adverse or traumatic for you, you will hone in on art, and you'll diffuse that situation through your art and create something beautiful on the other side of that, which I think is really cool. Do you have any plans for talking with people more about how art can be a meditation, or how art can help you through like depression and stuff?
So I've been thinking about several ways. The best that I've thought of how to teach like a method is what I've been doing with those paintings that I've been scrubbing with sandpaper. It's this technique that I learned when I went back to school, and it's an abstract technique with like water-based stuff, so that when the paint dries, you can wet it again and use sandpaper to grind it down, and so it'll some of the paint will dissolve. But that type of a technique where it's abstract, so people get hung over when they're creating art, trying to make
hung up.
Oh, did I say hungover?
Freudian slip on that one. People get hungover when they do art.
Well, sometimes they do that too. Hey.
So people get hung up on what art looks
like.
People
get hung up on trying to make something look like something. Like they try to make a face, and then they get super frustrated when they can't draw a face, or they can't make it look like a picture, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so having an abstract technique will take away that, what's the word? I can't think of the word.
Maybe take the pressure off?
Yeah, it'll take that extra pressure and expectation that it's not supposed to be anything. It just will be what it is.
Okay, this is really fascinating that this is what you're talking about, because I was just reading right before I came on and got distracted and fell down the rabbit hole. Sorry. But there's a book that I got, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and just never got around to opening it, but it's called it's something like Get Your Paint Mojo. And I really got sucked into this chapter that talked about getting loose, which getting loose is exactly what you're talking about, which is getting past your fear. And it's this person was talking about how, you can't, if you get bound up by what you're doing, if you stop having fun with what you're doing, if you get if you, all these rules crowd in on you, you're choking your creativity. And so she actually suggests these exercises, which are hilarious to me. Like from start to finish, there's all these steps that you take, but you have to finish them all in 20 minutes. So it's like the Bob Ross method of, painting therapy. Like, do it quickly, do it quickly, do it quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't do that. Like, I just, I get really bunged up. And my friends who are artists have all said that. Get loose, have fun, be creative. Don't get lost in the idea of what it should be like. Get interested in what it is you actually did, and then walk away from it and come back. And one of the things that I really liked was she talked about, making like a little viewfinder and just like going through what you just did and finding the little bits that you love and then enhancing those and then working with the others. And I thought, that's true. Like, even if you really hate something you made, you can look at it and go, oh, look at this one little piece. Like, this one little square is amazing. Mm-hmm. And loving the mess. Like, I think the fearlessness, I love the fact that you guys have both been making art your whole life. I did not. Mm-hmm. It was not an acceptable activity for kids. If you weren't working at something, you were screwing up. And so art was not on the table. Not even finger painting, not on the table. And so for me, there's a huge leap to get over the idea that you're not being productive, you're not creating something worthy. And the bravery comes in working through the mess, working through the ugly. I've never created anything yet that didn't have some point where I thought, this is hideous. And it takes a willingness to just keep working at it or setting it aside and coming back to it weeks later and saying, oh, look, this bit here is so valuable. I love this bit. Let me take this bit and keep working with it, and yeah, I don't know where I went. Sorry.
I totally do that. There's lots of like paintings that I have where I'm like, well, the whole thing turned out okay, but I really just love this little part here in the corner, and I keep it around because like I really love that little loop or whatever, that little gesture that I made that was that happened in the corner, or that color or something. So yes. Were you going to say something, Krista?
No.
Okay.
No. I was thinking about how I'm probably going to have to go start doing homework in a little bit.
Yes, I think I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to ask one question.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is like the funnest. I feel like this is like I've just been doing this for 12 weeks of doing this, and it's just starting to get good. I want to keep going. Let me see. Sneak peek, mending. Sure you have about going on from here. I was going to end with one of these. At the end of every chapter, she has these tasks, and sometimes they're like write down a checklist. But one of them, they're just like questions that you can like write down, and some of them I can kind of relate to like a. Maybe I'll just leave with a challenge. It says one of the tasks is list 5 people you can talk to about your dreams with. Talk about your dreams and with whom you feel supported to dream and then plan. I think as a great way to close this of learning to be more creative and making it more of a sustainable practice. Having a support or some kind of network around you is really like going to be your saving whatever. It's going to help you to maintain and sustain like the coach, having some kind of support. So my challenge would be I don't know if you have to have 5, but at least find one person that would help you support you through this, this new creative venture that you want to go through. So I'm going to do that. The end.
Well, Kivia, you are my artistic support. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
And I think with we have 2 other siblings, and we do kind of just go to each other. It's funny. My other sister's a photographer, and so she was calling up you this week saying,
she's like, I need some help.
So I was going to pretend like I wasn't a photographer anymore, but I kind of just can't stop. And so what do? You know, because Kezia, anyway, Kezia's doing her thing, and she's really starting to share her art online. And so there's different things that we can go to each other for. I think that that's fortunate that we're from an artistic family, and we all kind of understand each other, and we do support each other in our art, and we all understand that it's important. We all mutually understand it's important. So I think that when you're trying to make any type of life situation different, it's important to have a group of people around you. So if you don't have artists or people who are supportive of artists in your family or in your group of friends, go find an art group, or maybe just start following a couple of artists online. Like, I think, Kezia, I think what you're doing is really great for people who don't have an immediate support, but you know, they can private message you. You'll answer, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like you Oprah, you know?
Not yet. Shoot.
You
I like
listen to Oprah? OWN Network, the Kezia Carter Studio Show.
Oh, I vote yes. I vote yes. And I have to say, you know, Kezia, I also think that, you know, yes, you have your siblings, but when you share art online, when you actually show your process and you share what you're doing, whether people talk to you about it or not, that to me is a huge hurdle. I mean, it's huge because you're saying, okay, entire world, I'm going to show you who I am. And I think the more you do that, the better off you are. I think it instills a bravery, you know, and it's fine. You know, if people want to give you constructive criticism, that's fine. You know, people can be really helpful. I have artist friends who are very helpful. You know, who'll say, oh, this is really great. Did you think about doing that? So, yeah, I think that's great advice to get a tribe. Get people who, if nothing else, will just cheer your mistakes and go, woohoo, you tried. That's awesome.
Yeah.
God bless your beautiful mess.
That's very good. All right, guys. Well, I'll end it here. Should we close with a dance party again? Bernie wasn't here for the beginning, so.
I missed the dance party.
Let's see. I'm going to get a good one. We're going to dance out to, okay, Barbara Streisand or Rick Astley.
Girl, I was rocking the Rick Astley.
Okay, I got one more Rick Astley song, so.
Okay. 1987.
You were born in 1987?
No, I was born in 79. I'm not quite that young.
I was born in 86. That's close enough, you know. Yes, right.
Not telling you how old I was in 86.
I'm so glad you had this fun set of hangouts, Steve. This is a good set of hangouts.
Yeah.
I actually woke up with this song in my head.
Uh-oh.
Because I liked what he said. He said she wants to dance with me because I let her be what she wants to be. And I'm like, that's right.
You guys are the best.
Oh, by the way, yes.
I'm going to turn this down a little bit. By the way, so the other thing, I'm going to keep doing these live hangouts, and they're going to turn into live art lessons, basically.
Yes.
And,
I can hardly wait.
But I'm also doing interviews with other people talking about the importance of creative outlets. And I'm talking to people who aren't necessarily artists. And I did my first one with my friend Blair, who is a fellow blogger. We're internet friends, and she's a health coach. So
I'm putting that. I think it's already on YouTube.
Yeah,
And
it is. I watched it.
And this week I'm recording another interview with a writer friend who I found out when I found her when I discovered fan fiction. Naughty. What is
Regency period.
no, not Regency. Not Regency. 1850s.
Oh.
Fan fiction. Some of it was. Most of it was
North and South, huh?
North and
Yes,
South.
North and
South naughty fan fiction and not naughty fan fiction. But it totally absorbed a whole year of my life. And this author, she published 2 of her books, and I'm interviewing her. She said yes to the interview, and I'm really excited. So, anyway,
How fun.
Well, girl, I got to do that Sting fade out because
all right, we're doing the fade out.
The Roman Empire.
Sounds good. It's been real. Talk to you guys later. Thanks, everyone. This is like
Bye, Bernie. It was so nice hanging with you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.